Flame! F-L-A-M-E. F stands for fabulous. L stands for legendary. A stands for awesome. M stands for magnificent. And E stands for exultant. Now, with that out of the way, time to start Salamangreat. This deck is a mostly link deck. We rely on using our monsters to turn into other copies of themselves. We have 16 effect monsters, 1 ritual, 8 spells, 3 traps, 1 fusion, 2 XCs, and 6 different link monsters. Oh, and one of them might just so happen to be another copy of the same card, but in different art, and we don't have a single monster. Not yet. But anyway, let's go through some of these cards. Mole, that during the main phase, well, during my main phase, if I link summon this turn, I can special summon this card from my hand to its own link monster points to. It doesn't matter how I link summon, as long as it's some kind of link summon. If I control no monsters, you can banish this card from your graveyard and target 5 Salamangreat cards in your graveyard, shuffle them back into your deck, and then draw 2 cards. So either this, and you can only use each effect once per turn. They are each individually hard once per turn. Now, what this card does for us is we can either continue to combo by getting more materials for link summons, or alternatively, instead of that, what we can do is, if we're in a losing game state, because we have no monsters, we can put some of them back into our deck and hope we get some more better cards. Next, we got a Raccoon, and when a Salamangreat monster is targeted for attack, we can send this card from our hand to the graveyard, and those targeted monsters that would be destroyed, that would battle, and you gain attack equal to your opponent's monsters. Also, the targeted monster can't be destroyed by battle this turn. Complicated thing to say, pretty much nothing. Just go use Battle Fader, or, I don't know, negate attack is probably better for you. Which is Threatening Roar. Wabaku. All do the same thing effectively. It also makes it so when a Salamangreat monster declares, when your Salamangreat monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, while this card's in the graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand. So it's a hand trap, technically. We can keep using recycling your hand trap. Right. Next, our next monster, if it's added to our hand, does not say this card is added from the deck to the hand, just added to your hand, except by drawing it for your normal draw. So if you draw by any other method, it still goes off. You can reveal this card in your hands and special summon it. Yeah, so from your hand. If this card is in your hand, you can discard 1 other Salamangreat, special summon this card. Each effect is hard once per turn. Our next one. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was sent there as a link material this turn, activate one of these effects. You either target a Salamangreat in our graveyard, except copy itself, and special summon in defense mode, meaning we cannot bring back our link monsters because it goes in defense position. Or we take a Salamangreat card from a graveyard and add it to our hand. We can summon back a monster or add a card back to our hand. We got Foxy. With this card as normal summoned, we activate the top 3 cards of our deck. And if we do, we get to add 1 X-rated Salamangreat card from our deck to our hand. Shuffle the rest back to deck. If this card is sent to the graveyard, and a face-up spell trap card is on the field, if this card is in your graveyard. Sorry. You can discard 1 Salamangreat card, special summon this card, and if you do, destroy 1 face-up spell trap card. It does not say your spell trap card or your opponent's, so it can be either or. But, unfortunately, both effects share a hard once per turn. If I take the first effect, to grab look at the top 3 cards of my deck, unfortunately, they won't be able to use the second effect. Got Spinny. If I control Salad, you discard this card, target it against fire and attack until the end of the turn. If we control Salad, other than a copy of itself, and this card's in a graveyard, we can special summon this card from a graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. Do note, if this card is used as Xyz material, it does not actually get banished. It gets attached to the Xyz material, and when it eventually gets detached, it goes to the graveyard. Assuming you don't have, like, I don't know, a walking macrocosmos on the field, but that would never happen. With our next one, If you have 3 or more Salamangreat monsters in your graveyard, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard and target a Salamangreat Link monster in your graveyard, and one card your opponent's spell and trap card zone, return those targets to the extra deck. Turn your targeted extra deck and destroy your opponent's target. So you get to clear one of your opponent's back row and get back one of your resources by just having this thing. If a card in your opponent's board and trap card zone is straight in the graveyard, while this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon it in defense position. But unfortunately, each effect shares a hard once per turn, exactly like our other Foxy. Oh, anyway, something great against that. Now, unfortunately, my friend here, he's still on the FNL list. He's limited to 1 copy for some reason. If a Salamangreat monster is sent to the graveyard, we can special summon this card from our hand. Except for the different step. If this is no more specialed, we can send 1 Salad from our deck to the graveyard, except copies of itself. And each effect is individually hard once per turn. What does it do? Really? So if we use the link material, we can get this back on our field, then get something else into the graveyard. We do have another monster to look at. Also, I've been just ignoring that they have attack stats. It's really not relevant. They're just going to be using as link material. X card, if a Cyberse monster you control that was special summon from the X deck is destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effect, you can special summon this card from your graveyard if it was there when the card was destroyed, or your hand even if not. But banish it when it leaves the field. Again, if it uses link material, it does not get banished. If this card is sent to the graveyard as material for a link summon of a link 2 or higher Cyberse monster, you can add 1 Salamangreat normal spell from your deck to your hand. I didn't really mention this yet, but all of our style cards are there. Fire Cyberse. Pretty common theme. Every single one of them have. Next one, Falco. So if this sent to the graveyard, you can target a solid or trap card in a graveyard and set that target to the field. If this card is in a graveyard, you will target a solid monster we control, except copy itself, return it to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. Do note, if you just so happen to have something like Spinny, and you attempt to return it and it would normally be banished when it leaves the field, it's still banished. And this does not go to the field. Wow, look at this thing. So much text. So much text that says nothing. While this card is in your graveyard, Salamangreat Link monsters you control leave the field because of your opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can special summon 2 level 4 Salamangreat monsters from your graveyard, including this card, but negate their effects, and if you do, immediately after this effect resolves, Xyz summon 1 Salamangreat Xyz monster, using only those 2 monsters. You can also only use this effect once per turn, and Xyz monster has this card's material. Wait. Yep. Gains 3 in attack for each monster attached to it. Now, I don't normally do this, but I'm going to jump ahead a little to our Xyz monster summoning. Salamangreat Blaze Dragon. Takes 2 level 4s, pretty generic, has pretty poor attack stats. This works in Dark Magician or Summon Skull for reference. If this card would be destroyed with battle or card effect, this has 1 material from it instead. Alright. During the battle phase, if you have no materials, quick effect, you can special summon from your extra 1 Salamangreat Xyz monster using this card you control as material. We only have one other one to note. Also transfer its materials to the summoned monster. Which is weird because it has to have no materials on it to be able to use that effect. Well, you're going to do that once per turn. If this card is Xyz summoned using Blaze Dragon, you can destroy 1 monster your opponent controls. Well, this is the first time you're going to see if you use the copies of itself to go into a new monster. What you're supposed to do is get rid of all this card's material, and then replace it with another copy itself, destroy one of your opponent's monsters. Pretty lame. Gonna be honest, just a little bit of power protection. Next we got a monster that was link summoned using this card as material, can't be destroyed by battle or card effect for the rest of the turn. You can only use 1 of the following effects per turn and only once that turn. So, These two effects share hard ones per turn. If this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can target a fire monster in your graveyard at your hand. It doesn't say Fire Cybers or Salamangreat Fire Monster, it just says Fire Monster, so stuff like Ash Blossom Joy Spring are valid targets. Anyway, if this card is added from the graveyard to your hand by card effect, you can reveal this card, target one fire monster in your graveyard, out to your hand. Not bad, you can recycle Ash Blossom Joy Spring. In comparison to Foul, that if a Salamangreat monster accepts copies of itself is normal special summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand. Not bad, we normally salad, we special this, go into whatever link monster we want. You can only use this effect once per turn. If it's silent, you can summon a silent monster from card from your hand or face up to the graveyard, then target one set sport trick ready upon controls. That set card can't be activated this turn. Why not just destroy it? No idea. Got Jaguar. But if this card inflicts piercing, but as 18, not really the best stats, but good enough, I guess. If you control a Stout Link, while this card's in your graveyard, you target it. One Stallion monster in your graveyard, except copies to us, shuffle that back into your deck, and if you do, special summon this card to its own Salamangreat Link monster points to. You can only use each effect once per turn. Hard once per turns, individually. When one's monster, Pico? Oh. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you special summon this card from your hand attack position. I'm pretty sure Ultra Guys has a very similar card. But it also negates attack. If this card is special summon, you can target one silent monster in graveyard. This card's attack becomes that target's attack. You can tribute this card, gain 2,000 life points. Oh. You can use each effect once per turn. So effectively, it's a body you can throw in your field when your opponent tries to attack you, and it gains some attack. That's about it. That's all it is. Just a battle protection, I guess? Getting the attack would be pretty useful. And last main deck monster makes so if we have 3 or more silent monsters on our graveyard, we can just special summon this from our hand defense position. Now it only has 1,000 defense, but that's more than enough. Because you're going to be using as leak material. You can target a fire link monster in your graveyard up to the number of face-up cards you control. Return those extra cards to the extract, then you can negate the effect of face-up cards your opponent controls until the end of the turn, up to the number of cards returned. If we have, say, 5 cards to target in our field, put back 5 of our fire link monsters, does not specifically say salad, and negate a bunch of our opponent's cards. We also do have a ritual monster that makes it normal ritual monster stuff. It's level 8, the only one of the few times level matters. When this card is ritual summoned using a Salamangreat copies of itself, you can destroy all special summon monsters you opponent controls. Once per turn, you contribute one Salamangreat Link monster. This turn, this card gains this effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles opponent's monster, destroy that opponent's monster, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent, you control that monster's word talk. So it turns into both a Raigeki and a Flame Wingman, but with more attack. It's I'm not gonna lie and say it's the best card ever made. Especially let's look at its ritual monster. Ritual spell. This thing. Rise of the Salamangreat. Rise of the Salad. It's used to ritual summon Salamangreat monsters, any of them, but there's only one. You must tribute monsters from your hand or field whose total level equals or exceeds the level of that ritual monster. If you control a Fire Link monster, you can also use Salamangreat monsters from your graveyard by shuffling those into the deck. If this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can special summon one Salamangreat Eagle from your hand, ignoring its summoning conditions. Well, effectively all this does is say you use this in a copy. If you have somehow one of these in your graveyard and you're playing 2 of these, and you have one of these in your hand, go for a summon, I guess, technically. Yeah, I don't know why you would. In comparison to our next card, that you can target 2 silent monsters in your graveyard with different names, add those to your hand. Not bad. If this card is sent to the graveyard, it is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, which we do have ways to destroy our own cards, by the way. You can add 1 silent spell trap from your deck to your hand, except copies of itself. Each effect is hard once per turn. Next card, Burning Shell. Sounds like it's a quick play spell card. You can special a silent monster from our hand, but negates effects. Then immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 Salamangreat Link monster using using monsters you control, including that monster as material. This turn, that Link monster can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, get attack, or activate its effects. During the main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Salamangreat Link monster in your graveyard, return to extract. Okay, so we get a quick link into whatever salad we want. We gotta quickly make a salad, and we gotta put back a bad salad. Sure. In comparison to Salamangreat Circle, it activates one of these effects, and you can only activate 1 Salamangreat Circle per turn, however. You either add a salad from your deck to your hand, like Gazelle, or we could take one of our Link monsters we control, that was summoned using copies of itself, and is unaffected by the effects. That monster is unaffected by monster effects this turn, except its own. In comparison to this thing, another quick play spell card targets the Salamangreat Link monster we control. Special summons 1 Salamangreat Link monster with the same name from our extra deck, using that monster as material. This is treated as a Link summon. So we get a what's known as reincarnation Link summoning. We gotta take our monster and turn it into an exact copy of itself. Now let's say that had equip cards attached to it, those go to the graveyard. If that counters, those disappear. You're going to activate one of these per turn. It's a quick way to go into whatever reincarnation Link summon we want. Our next card, Will of the Salad. Will the Salad. Sorry, it's too easy to make jokes about this. I know it was 1/4 toss format, which was Thunder Dragon, Orcus, Salad, Sky Striker, but still, Salad. Didn't it win 2019 World Championships? During your main phase, you can special summon 1 Salad monster from your hand or graveyard. Cool? Just a free summon of a monster from a graveyard. You can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, then target 1 Salamangreat Link monster we control, special summon using a copy of itself. Special summon Salamangreat monsters from our hand and or graveyard in defense position up to the number of those that card's link rating. So if you had like a link 4, we can get 4 materials on our field for free. Effectively. You're going to use each effect once per turn. So you can't special summon 1 monster and then special summon 4 more. Salamangreat Claw is an equipped spell card. It must be equipped to a Salamangreat monster. Does not matter which one. The equipped monster can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. And if it attacks a defense position monster for piercing battle damage. If the equipped monster is Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using its copy of itself as material, during each battle phase, it can attack on monsters up to its Link rating. So, if we had our big number 4, we can have a quad attacker on monsters that does piercing, and can't be destroyed by battle or card effect. But if you have only one of these, it's only like 1 attack, and it doesn't grant any more attack than it already has, you need to find a way to get attack on your own. Now, our field spell card. This is where it's at. If this lets us just reincarnation Link summon once per turn, we can take our Link monster and turn it into another copy of itself by using that as a Link material. During damage calculation, we can pay within life points, target a Link monster in a graveyard. One of our Link monsters makes its attack 0, and if we do, gain life points equal to its attack. So this is during damage calculation specifically, which is a pretty awkward time. And it's a Link monster, so it can't be in defense position. Each effect is a hard once per turn. Now we do got 3 traps. I'm going to go over the continuous one first. We could discard a Salamangreat monster, send one Salamangreat monster from our deck to the graveyard, then draw one card. So we get 2 cards into our grave, and draw one card. So we're technically going card neutral, but most of our Salamangreats have effects in the graveyard. Which is something to think about. If you control a Salamangreat Link monster that was Link summoned using a copy itself, you can discard one Salamangreat monster, draw 2. Oh, and you can only use each effect once per turn, and they share a hard once per turn. Next, we have Salamangreat Roar, which lets you send a Salamangreat monster from your hand or face a field of the graveyard, then target one card in the field destroyed. Or, lets you target a Salamangreat Link monster you control that was Link summoned using a copy of itself, destroy cards your opponent controls up to its Link rating. So we either go get rid of one monster in our hand and one card in our field to get rid of one of our opponent's cards. So either go -1 or we can go plus whatever. It's a hard once per turn. And our counter trap, when a spell trap card or monster effect is activated, while you control Salamangreat Link monster and the activation. And if you do, destroy it. While this card's in the graveyard, if a Salamangreat Link monster is Link summoned to your field using a copy of itself, set this card to your field but banish it when it leaves the field. We got effectively 6 copies of Salamangreat Roar in our deck, and Salamangreat Rage can get rid of a lot of monsters. Let's go over some of our Link monsters. El Mirage is quick effect. You can tribute it to make it so one of our monsters can be destroyed by our opponent's card effects this turn. When we normal summon, a normal summon monster you control is destroyed by battle. This card's in your graveyard. You can special summon this card. Not bad. So it's recurable bad effect protection, but it's hard to summon. It takes a monster with 1,000 or less attack as normal summon. Oh wait. Look at this. Not anymore, but we do have quite a bit of monsters that work for this. It's a Link 1, it has 0 attack points, and you can only use each of its once per turn. So you can't tribute it, give some protection, and then bring it back, and then tribute it again. You only tribute once. We got a monster that takes any level 4 or lower Cyburst monster, so anything except for these in our deck. If it's Link Summon, we can add our field spot to our hand. If this silent card we control would be destroyed by battle or card effect, we can just card from a graveyard instead. Each effect is a hard once per turn. Sunlight Wolf. 2 fire effect monsters. It's a Link 2. It has 1,800 attack. If a monster is normal special summon to a zone this card points to, you can add 1 fire monster from your graveyard to your hand, but for the rest of his turn, you can't normal set or special summon monsters with the added monster's name. During your main phase, if you control this card that was Link summoned using copy of itself, you can add a Salad Spell Trap from your graveyard to your hand. We can add back what is effectively an Omnigate with Salamangreat Roar. Or, if we already have one, go for a Rage. Next we got Heat Leo, 2,300, takes 2 or more fire effect monsters. It's a Link 3. If it's Link summoned, we can target 1 card opponent control or opponent's opponent trap card zone, shuffle into the deck once per turn. During the main phase, if this card was Link summoned using a copy of itself, you can target 1 face-up monster on the field and 1 monster in the graveyard. The attack of the first target becomes equal to the other targets into the end of the turn. We can use this on opponent's cards or on our own. So we have a monster that's effectively can't be destroyed by battle and can give rid of one opponent's spawn trap cards. Also, I would like to point out that it has no sort of hard ones per turn, so if we just so happen to Reincarnation Link summon it, we could give rid of another one of opponent's spawn trap cards. Next, our final Link monster takes 2 or more fire effect monsters. Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix. If this card is Link summoned using a Salamangreat Pyro Phoenix as material, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Damn. It's a board wipe for one-sided board wipe. Not bad. If you control, you can only use each of the following effects once per turn. You can target 1 Link monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon it to your opponent's field. Let me keep reading. If a Link monster special summoned to your opponent's field, you can target one of those monsters, inflict damage to your opponent. Huh. So all I read here is that it gives our opponent material for a little bit of damage, and it might be a one-sided board wipe. I'd rather go for one of our Xyz monsters, which we've already gone over one. Let's go over the other. Mirage Stalio. 2000 attack, 900 defense. You can detach one material from this card, special one Stalliot monster from your deck in defense position. Also, you can't activate monster effects for the rest of the turn except fire monsters. Damn! Okay. Wow. This just summons anything from our deck for practically for free. Yeah, it's pretty strong. If we had something, really quick combo idea, summon Gazelle to your field, activate Gazelle's effect on summon, allowing you to toss away your Spinny. Activate Spinny's effect, because we control a Salamangreat other than Salamangreat Spinny. This card's in a graveyard, special summon it. Go into Mirage Stalio with both of those monsters, activate its effect, summon whatever we want, and if we put Spinny in our graveyard, it doesn't get banished. Sounds a lot better than this other guy so far. But it might prevent us from using anything except fire, but we can just not put non-fires in our deck, or use our non-fires before we activate this card. Yep, because it does not work retroactively. It also makes it so if it's Xyz summon this card, instead of the graveyard, as Link material, we can target one monster on the field, return that target to the hand. Sorry. It does not matter what field. It does not matter who owns it. It does not matter if it's in face up, face down. It does not matter if it's Salamangreat. As long as it can be target, it's returned to the hand. This is actually... Now, there's a card in the game... what's that thing called? Underworld Guardians of the Closed World. Goth Mommy? Wait, Goth Vampire Mommy GF? That this card can get rid of. It's immune to everything except targeted... And if you use IP Masquerena, it also becomes indestroyable. So you need targeted destruction to get it. But this does target non-destruction, and this is target non-destruction. Our last card is also, this had no sort of reincarnation method. A Violet Chimera takes a Salamangreat monster and a Link monster. If this card is fusion summoned, make it gain attack equal to half the combined attack of the monsters used for its summon. Original attack. Until the end of the turn. Once per battle, during damage calculation, if a monster battles an opponent's monster whose current attack is different from its original attack, quick effect, you can double this card's attack during damage calculation only. If this card was summoned using copy itself, as material, battles a monster, and that monster's attack becomes 0 until the damage calculation ends. Now, because we can also just double our monster's attack points, if we use a copy itself, we get... This is an OTK in a nutshell. That's all I got for you. Just top deck that subscribe button. Also, I'm aware that there might be eventually more salad cards. Sorry, I got a fireball in my throat. But if there was, I don't know if they're really going to be the best. Alright, now that you've top decked the subscribe button, have fun.